Well, it is the Tech Friday edition of Business Express, and a whole lot is coming to fore this morning. But Rotus, we have some unfinished business which you asked to be moved to today. That's in accounting, it's called balance carried forward, or that's brought forward now. So that's why if my elementary, secondary school business accounting will serve me right. But so, Rotus, you were of the opinion that Western democracies, you want the listener to come in on this one, if the topic of Western democracy in Africa has come up again, and what their take is, if it's really for Africa, or we should make up our what we call our own democracy. That's a question you want to put out, right?
Indeed, but I think that it's we're overcomplicating things, and I think that democracy works when you give people freedom of choice, and so we shouldn't now start questioning whether democracy works in Africa simply because you've seen a coup in a place where a man has been running a country as his own personal project. So yeah, that's what I would have wanted to get people's thoughts on, on that indeed.
And in addition, you said if democracy doesn't work in a country, then that's what is the outlook for businesses in the country?
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't, then the businesses are going to shut down. We're seeing well, not shut down, but at least operations will be impacted. So in Gabon, there's a number of companies there that are listed on the CAC 40, which is an exchange in France, stock exchange, and some of their stocks dropped pretty heavily. As far as companies that get manganese and other mineral resources from there, like even oil and so on. So there's an impact. There's an impact there.
So let's bring Fisayo in while we wait for the listener to send in their messages on 0809-444-0981 on any of this issue we shall be looking at this morning. Fisayo, what do you think about it? Democracy and business climate.
I mean, I've heard arguments around, people creating their own form of government and all, but again, what other alternative is there, right? When you look at, the systems across the world, we've seen people that run some form of monarchy, where, again, one person rules the nation for 40 years, for 50 years, right? But democracy is the only one that allows you to, like Rotus says, freedom of choice to choose, over a period of time. However, what we've seen in Africa specifically is that, we have powerful men and not powerful institutions, and that's a problem. So it's not about democracy. Some democracy's fault is the men. I was talking to a friend and was praising the economic strides in Rwanda, and I was like, well, I think it's PR, right? Because to a large extent, one man has been changing constitution to feed his own personal agenda, while people can argue that he's doing that for the best interest of the country. But again, who says you are the only one that can run the country well, right? Who says no one can do it better than you're doing it, right? So, but changing the constitution every time because you want to run for a re-election and you win landslide every time you run for a re-election, even after the constitution has been changed like 3-4 times to suit your personal agenda, is still horrible when it comes to democracy, right? So I think it's about Africa having very strong men rather than very strong institutions, and that for me is the problem. So it's not. I don't think it's a democracy problem. That's number one. Number two is that people have also argued about the merits of democracy, saying that the power of choice to the people, because if you give people the choice, sometimes, I mean, Nigeria is here today because of democracy, right? We chose the leaders that are ruling us, and of course, we've discovered that the worst of us are also the ones ruling the best of us. And of course, it's the people that chose the worst of us, to rule the best of us, right? So there's an inherent problem in allowing, people, especially people that not the most educated set of people, not the most interested set of people, to come together and select with one voice. But again, vox populi, vox dei, right? So vox of the people is voice of God, right? It causes problems because again, people that should be competent enough to run a country, might not be the most popular people. Might not be the most popular with the people, right? But the people have to choose a popular person rather than a competent person again. So and it's not popularity that runs the country, it's competence, right? So democracy in itself is flawed in their perspectives, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Fisayo. Fisayo, that looks like a very good way to segue now into this next topic, which is for today. Let's go straight down to this issue of Indeed CEO wants to create cyborg recruiters using AI. I'd like you to speak on this, and then we'll link it back to if we can come back to using AI to recruit our political leaders, if maybe to make a difference and get the best of us. Take us from there.
Okay, well, so I guess for Indeed, it's a question around HR professionals. I mean, if I understand it correctly, right, it's trying to read the mind of the potential employees, right, using AI to figure out if they're actually competent to do the work, rather than what they say. Because again, people talk big game. I've heard people that say, okay, if you meet someone that has been in a profession for so long, they can talk, like, they just say things, but they can't actually execute on anything, right? So I guess what Indeed is trying to do is to say, how can we use technology to figure out the actual competence of these people? In fact, I've seen something recently that talks about, prosecutors in the US trying to use AI to figure out what someone is thinking in his head while they are interrogating the person. So essentially, you can use that to read the person's mind to know if he committed a crime or not, and it's just talking big game and lying and just explaining what he has found out, right? I don't know. I don't think I want to subject myself to an AI recruitment or AI interrogation, because I don't want you to read my mind. I want you to believe what I say. Let your yes be yes and your no be no, right?
Okay. What is your thoughts on this one?
No, I mean, AI is making advancements in selections, but I don't want my mind being read either. You should make a choice on whether a candidate is good for a job based on the human judgment, and then assessing their skills. I think that's how it should be done.
Yeah, but see where we are, what we've done. I'm now linking it to the politics and where, especially, it seems like the rest of the Western world, they spend sleepless nights trying to create solutions for us. That's what I see. Don't you see a leeway if we begin to use AI to select our political leaders? We would have less.
Yeah, but then that wouldn't be democracy now. You're ignoring the people and leaving it to machines.
Okay, I see that one there. So let's also move on now from leaving that one to still tech. The man who's got so much money and is just experimenting. Whatever he just thinks about, knee-jerk, he throws it into the spanner to the platform X. And I'm trying to say that what Elon Musk is saying, audio and video calls coming to not Twitter, to X soon.
Yeah. Fisayo, what do you think about phone calls, audio, video phone calls coming to X? I mean, I think you can make calls on Instagram, right? You can make video calls on Instagram without a phone number. So natural progression now, isn't that the case?
I mean, so if I remember correctly, right, the design for X, why he moved from wherever he was to X, is because Elon wants to make it the everything app. So from payment to e-commerce to everything, to calls to text, just do everything on the app. You don't have to leave. That's the vision that Elon Musk has for this business, right? And when he bought it over, that has been cleared, and this is where I'm going to. So I'm not surprised that it's moving in that direction. And of course, I guess for me, it's just that it questions, the people we've held in high esteem around tech entrepreneurship. I like Jack Ma, for instance. I mean, not Jack Ma, Jack Dorsey. The question was that, what for years, Jack Dorsey didn't do anything about Twitter products, right? He didn't improve it a bit, It just feels like, I mean, by the time Elon took over, I didn't think that any of these things that he's doing is actually possible, because I've used Twitter for years. I mean, even with Jack Dorsey as CEO, but nothing changed in the product, right? So, for me, it's, and of course, Elon is achieving this with half the staff, because again, you have to fire a lot of people so that operating expenses won't balloon, and of course can get to some profitability soon. soon enough, right? So, but, it just questions that thing. So I guess the most important thing here is the vision. What are you seeing? What is Elon Musk seeing on this product? And of course, is building that out as quickly as possible. And of course, that has then meant that competitors like say Jack Dorsey's say Blue Sky, Threads by Instagram, all of them seem to be taking Threads by Meta. I said Instagram because again, it's Instagram that they use to sell. Threads by Meta, all of them seem to be taking a background because Twitter is not giving them room to breathe, as it were. So I guess it's what it is. We'll see how that goes. But I think it's also a step in the right direction because again, I know that they've gotten a payment type license that allows them to process payments on Twitter, on X as it were. I don't know why you changed the name though, but
I'm never calling it X. I'm calling it Twitter for the rest of my life. I'm calling it X.
All right, gentlemen. See, it will be nice to hear what listeners they're thinking about right now. So let's see. Bring in Tayo, and he says, with the incident in Gabon looking like a family affair, was there democracy? Even now, with the instigator being identified as his cousin, is that a democracy? Libya under Gaddafi administration compared to Libya right now are two different scenarios. Cameroon is taking precaution to rejig its military and defense outfit. I guess time will tell if it is effective. Then on to AI, the artificial intelligence report is reminding him, that's Tayo, of Minority Report starring Tom Cruise. It's an interesting movie to watch from an opinion on. That's what he has to say. Then Wenga Kamo comes on with a message here. We've got, we have to do something about the leadership selection process. It must be a people-driven process, not AI. Benga Akamu just kills it before it flies. It won't even fly. That's for him. Yinka Bolu comes in. Western democracy works in Africa. However, it's Africans that are messing it up. I know everybody will accuse France of ripping off some of these African countries. However, nobody is talking about how some of these African countries but when their leaders are there messing up, when their leaders are entering into these deals with France, were they drugged? The solution to democracy in Africa is setting term limits to 2 terms of 4 years. However, how can you be in power for over 2, 3, 4 decades and we can't be shifting the goalposts like Kagame? But by 2035, it will still be there. That's what the last time I checked. And then, yes, so that's what, according to Paul Kagame, that's what he's saying. And guys, this Elon Musk is sharing on X, the money Elon Musk is sharing on X. When are we going to talk about the nuisance it has caused everywhere? Everyone is just moving mad on Twitter. So, Rotus, assignment.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but you can make money now if you create a number of impressions. You sign up with a Stripe account or something. He's sharing money now. He's trying to keep people on the platform. So as Fisayo said, he's really moving, trying to really move the platform forward, to keep people there.
And Kunle popped by with this message: X gonna give it to ya, DMX. The app is becoming the best. That's according to Kunle. So Rotus, just wrap this one up for approval to build federal roads could be issued on WhatsApp. David Umai.
Yeah, the Minister of Works, he was responding, just for context, he was responding to Governor Obaseki of Edo State. Obaseki was somewhere complaining that the federal government hasn't given approval for him to rehabilitate some dilapidated roads in Edo State. So Umahi, I think, was with Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos. I think he was inspecting some things. And I said, listen, stop playing politics. If you want to, the federal government will not stand in the way of a state approving a rehabilitation of the road. If you want, send me the request on WhatsApp. I'll approve it within an hour. So that's how the WhatsApp thing took a life of its own. But really, he was saying if you want to rehabilitate a road, he won't stand in the way of a state.
Rotus, finally, before you go, I will be remiss not to mention this. You shut down social media to conduct election, most especially in Africa. But it was the same social media that helped us get the video out from Gabon to ask your friends to make noise now. It's not acceptable.
Exactly. The irony of life. I mean, look, that man, I do not support a coup. I don't support a military junta. Social media has done its job. But look, Bongo had to go. He had to go. I hope I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth, but that man had to go. Well, make noise. Everybody make noise.
Someone mentioned that the initial coup is actually the election in itself. That's the first coup against the
right? Right. Exactly.
So we don't want
right.
coup plotters. Whether Ali Bongo or the junta, they are both coup people, coup plotters. Right?
All right. Thank you so much, Fisayo Durojiaye, for your time this morning. We appreciate you greatly.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Rotus. Have a great day, Rotus.
See you guys Monday.
Friday. Bye.
Exactly. Let's everybody relax. See you guys.
And that's the size of Business Express on Smooth 98.1 FM. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.